Hello and welcome to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are on the Zooms today to learn about Tablescapes. That is a fundraiser that Wheels for Wellness is hosting next week. So Traci Toth is joining me. She is their executive director. Ann Lamanna is on the Zooms with us as well. She is their board chair and a volunteer driver. We're going to learn a little bit about that as well. But Traci, thank you for taking some time today to meet up. I'm glad that Ann wrangled me via email and then again at Winchester Little Theater a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Thanks for having us back again.
Traci, for someone who may not be familiar with what you do at Wheels for Wellness, can you give me an overview of the services that your organization provides?
It's a pretty basic, simple service. We provide transportation to medical appointments and treatment for those in our region who just don't have other means of transportation.
And so you're talking like doctor's appointments,
Yes.
dialysis, things along those lines?
Yes. Everything has to be medical related. Doctor's appointments, hearing aid fittings, dental. Right now, though, believe it or not, about 68% of our clients are going to dialysis.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, a lot of transports, because each person goes 3 times a week.
And so how does that work? And as a volunteer driver, do you know what their schedule is? Do they have to sign up? Do you wait for them? Walk me through what that looks like.
Usually with dialysis, always with dialysis, it is considered 2 transports. For example, I'm going to pick somebody up at 9:45 and I'm going to take them to dialysis on Valor Drive, DeVita on Valor Drive. I'll drop her off. I won't wait. Somebody else will come by at about 2:30 and pick her up and take her home. So that's 2 separate transports. Now, sometimes I'll take both transports, but I don't sit at dialysis and wait. For example, even this morning, I drove somebody to Winchester Medical Center to the diagnostic center, and I picked him up at 8:30 and dropped him off for whatever test he was going to get. I ran a couple errands and came back at 9:30 and picked him up. So I could have waited an hour, but I decided not to. But I have sometimes for those appointments waited. But dialysis, you don't wait. It's too long.
And are you doing all of this in your own vehicle?
Yes, all volunteers use their own vehicle, their own gas, and their own time. Yep, that's what a volunteer is. And it's a wonderful volunteer opportunity because you're not obligated to do any transports if you don't want to. If you happen to be really busy or on vacation, the volunteer signs up for what works with their schedule. So that's nice. You're not obligated to give 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or 0. You give 0 if you don't have any time to give. So it works out really nice. It's very flexible. Some transports are further than others. And if you don't feel like driving to Warren County to pick somebody up and bring them back to Winchester, you don't have to. But if you don't mind doing that, you can do that.
Traci, that leads me to my next question, which is what is the geographic area that you cover? When Ann talks about making a Front Royal run, for example, what are the areas that you cover?
We cover Winchester and the counties of Frederick, Clarke, Warren, and northern Shenandoah.
Oh, wow. So you got quite a bit of ground beneath your feet.
We do. We really do.
And I would imagine a lot of those are staying in county. So if you're picking someone up, say in Strasburg or maybe even Woodstock, you're likely taking them to Shenandoah Memorial Hospital, not always bringing them back to Winchester.
Not always. Sometimes it's Winchester. Sometimes it is right in the same county, the same area. Our biggest concentration of clients, though, is in Frederick County.
And how do they sign up in order to get a ride?
We have a pretty simple application process, and we get lots of self-referrals. We get them through clinics and doctors' offices, DeVita themselves, Shenandoah Oncology. They make lots of referrals to us. And our clients, the only restrictions we have are they have to be ambulatory and able to get in and out of a vehicle with little to no assistance and not Medicaid recipients. Medicaid has its own transportation system. So we pick up that pocket that just doesn't have any other resource.
I've been having a lot of conversations these last several weeks about the ALICE population. And I think that a lot of them likely fall into that category as well because they make just a hair too much to qualify for Medicaid, but they don't always have their own transportation to get to places like their doctor's appointments or dialysis or to get x-rays done, things like that.
Absolutely. Historically, it was seniors that we were seeing, but over the past couple of years, it's really balanced out over all age groups. Our clients go from 20 years old to 90, so it really runs the whole gamut.
And I would imagine, depending on what it is that they're going to, maybe they can't drive. They may have a vehicle, but this isn't something that they should be driving after the fact. So this makes it a little bit easier for them to know that they're covered if they need it.
We have some patients who are just too sick to drive themselves home. So that's completely understandable. We also do one-time transports for those who are having a colonoscopy or something similar at the hospital because you have to have a ride home afterwards. They won't release them to an Uber, but they would to us.
And I would guess too that the fact that you have such a high volume of people that are on dialysis, you're probably picking up some of the same people on a regular schedule. You likely get to be friends with them and know all about them.
Yeah, people are really very nice and people are really very grateful. It's always a pleasant ride. I talk about my family. When I had my newest grandchild, there were a couple people that I had been driving for a couple years. So I got to share that news with them. When they tell me about when something new happens in their life, there was one guy I drove and he told me when his birthday was. So I brought him a birthday card because I happened to be picking him up on his birthday. So I brought him a birthday card. And he was just very grateful that I remembered in the course of conversation. So yeah, you get to know people and they really do appreciate what you do. And getting back to kind of what Traci was saying about both referrals and people driving, I drove a gentleman one time and he told me that he used to drive himself to dialysis and that he would take a nap in his car before he drove himself home. And a nurse from dialysis saw him in the parking lot sleeping and told him that he can't drive himself. And she referred him to us so that he had a more reliable way to get there. I had another lady who took the bus to dialysis. And after dialysis, she walked to the bus stop and she passed out. Then once she came to and somebody walked her back to dialysis, they told her what had happened and they referred her to us. People who don't know about us, it's nice that the community knows about us. So for people like that, it's important for them to have that resource.
And I think for the outside world that have never had a family member or themselves had to go through something like dialysis, they have no idea what a toll it takes on the body. So they may, from the outside looking in, go, well, I don't understand why they can't just drive themselves. It's a lot when you're going, because it's what, 3 hours sometimes?
Yes. And it's draining. People are drained. Most people tell me that they take a nap afterwards. When I say, what are you going to do the rest of the day? The first thing I say is, I'm going to take a nap. And I remember my dad was on dialysis, and that's what he did. When he got home, he would have breakfast and then he'd take a nap.
It's such a beneficial service, particularly for, I mean, we've been talking about dialysis in particular, but I could imagine where it's helpful for someone who maybe has chemo. Again, that's one of those things that after you go through a chemo treatment, driving home is not the safest or most ideal situation, but not everyone has family that can take them and drop them off or sit with them and then come back and get them. So what you're offering here really is incredible.
Yeah, we do chemotherapy and radiation appointments also. It's a lower number than dialysis, but they are there. And radiation is every day for, 5 weeks, something like that sometimes. And chemo, you're absolutely right. There's no way you should be driving home after that. You're just too sick.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about your upcoming event. You've got Tablescapes coming on Sunday, April 19th from 2 to 5. Will you give me the details for what that is, how it works, and where people can get tickets? Can we do that all in the next segment?
Absolutely.
We are on the Zooms today talking with Traci Toth. She is the executive director for Wheels for Wellness. Joining her is Ann Lamanna. Ann is their board chair and a volunteer driver. We're going to come back and learn about their upcoming fundraiser in just a couple of minutes.
This Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. She doesn't know that yet. All she knows is that she went to justserve.org and volunteered an hour of her time. Browsing through dozens of service opportunities in her community, April decided to spend her Tuesday evening serving dinner to mothers and their children at a transitional house. She doesn't know she'll be serving a particular mother and daughter who will be spending their first night in this home. April doesn't know that the hot meal she'll serve is the first this mother and daughter will have had in a week, or that the simple smile she'll offer as she serves them will help them realize that things are going to be all right. Which is why this Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. We are getting a refresher course on Wheels for Wellness. Today, Traci Toth is joining me. She is their executive director. Ann Lamanna is on the Zoom with us as well. She is their board chair and a volunteer driver. Ann told us a few stories. In the first segment, we learned about the incredible value that Wheels for Wellness provides to these patients that need access to their medical appointments and to dialysis and things along those lines, particularly if they don't have their own transportation. And I would imagine, Traci, that even though Ann mentioned that she's using her car and she's paying for her gas, that doesn't mean that the services that you offer are free and clear. You still have to do fundraisers. You still want to be involved in the community. And if I recall correctly from some of our previous conversations, you try to help out your volunteers with gas gift cards, things like that. So fundraisers are very important for you.
They are. We try to reimburse some gas cards to drivers at the end of the year. Last year, we had 130,000 miles that they drove. So imagine that in terms of gas. So we do that. We also have accident liability secondary policy on all of our drivers. We pay for that for everyone. We do have a very small office on the Our Health campus, so there are administrative costs, but we are funded through grants, donations, and fundraisers. So our signature fundraiser is Tablescapes. 2026 will be our 10th annual. We're calling it a decade of design, and it is a showcase of all entertaining. So it's all about dining and entertaining and setting great tables. It is like walking into the pages of a magazine when you walk into the room. And we actually have someone this year who was featured in the Christmas Better Homes and Gardens who was doing a table. So that's exciting for us. And we have demonstrations as well as displays, silent auction, raffle. We've added a 50-50 this year, and we have tons of refreshments. Everybody always gets their fill, and a cash wine bar this year.
When you talk about looking like it's something out of a magazine, I'm picturing like Southern Living and how you flip through the pages and you see these beautiful dining rooms set up with everything all spread out. And you think, one day I'm going to host a dinner and that's what my table is going to look like. That's what this looks like when they show up for this event.
It is, absolutely. We have 25 dinner tables decorated, and they're all different themes, and some have new dishes on them. Some have family heirlooms or antiques. There's always stories behind some of the place settings. I know there's one this year who's doing a US 250th anniversary table. So everything on her table has been made in the USA, and it's historical somehow. So really unique. Even if you have two people do a Christmas table, they're so different. It's just amazing.
We usually have some pink and green tables for Apple Blossom because we're just a couple weeks before Apple Blossom this year. But every year we do have Apple Blossom. We have Easter tables. Every year people get more and more creative, and they seem to up their game. I was like flabbergasted. I think my jaw dropped last year when I looked at people's tables. They just were awesome. They were just so beautiful, and there was just so much to look at.
The amount of detail that goes into it's incredible.
Yeah. People really take a lot of time, and they use their own stuff, and they buy their own stuff to make centerpieces. And we had somebody one time who did like a James Bond table. People just really think outside the box.
It's really cool because it's not even like they're putting in all of this effort to be named the best table. It's not like it's a competition necessarily. It's really, hey, we just want to do this. And I saw what she did last year, and I'm going to up her individually those kinds of things, which really makes it cool to be in the room with all of those people.
We do have a competition, but it's not a driving force behind it.
Yeah, it's not a big prize.
Yeah, we do two different ones. We have a decorator's choice, so all the decorators vote amongst themselves as to which which table they like the best. And we have a people's choice where all the guests can donate $1 per vote for their favorite table as well. But the winners get a small gift card and bragging rights.
And sometimes that's more valuable than a $1,000 check. People like to say, oh, yeah, I
That's
had
right.
People's Choice last year.
Uh-huh.
And so people buy tickets. Walk me through how that looks.
Yeah, people buy tickets. You can get tickets online, wheelsforwellness.org. You can get tickets at Kimberly's. There's a sign outside Kimberly's that Tablescapes tickets are sold here. So you could go into Kimberly's and get a ticket. You can come to our office in the R Health building and buy tickets. They're $25 a piece. And then they're $30 at the door. It starts at 2. People start arriving like at 1:30 or so, 1:45. And you come in and you just are blown away by the beauty of the room. And people walk around from table to table. They ask questions of the decorators. There's a little card on each decorator's table to talk about what is on the table, what's the pattern of their china, the silverware they're using, if they happen to have any stemware on the table. They talk about that. That's on a card for people to see. And they ask questions of the decorator, and to go to 25 different tables, that takes some time. We have door prizes throughout the day that we just call people's names and they win a small door prize. We have food. There's lots of food, and there's coffee and tea and lemonade and iced tea. So there's stuff to drink. There are tables set up. People talk to each other and they talk about the tables. We have demonstrations. Kathy Holiday, who comes and she will do flower arrangements, and people can watch how she makes a beautiful flower arrangement. And then she'll put everything in a vase and we get to sell them and people can buy her beautiful flower arrangements. I think this year we're going to have napkin demonstrations. You can learn how to fold napkins different ways. Last year, somebody talked about how to make a charcuterie board, build a buffet. So they made a buffet table and people got to eat off the buffet table. So we try to do something different from year to year. And then we have a silent auction, like Traci said, and a raffle. So we get prizes donated. Things that are valued over $100 and up are on our silent auction table. Things that are under $100 are raffles. There's bags in front of items. There might be some wine and a couple wine glasses in a basket, and there'll be a bag in front. You can buy tickets and put your ticket in, and then randomly towards the end of the day, we'll just draw tickets and people can win those and also win the silent auction items. So we have stuff to keep people busy during the day. It's a fast 3 hours. It's a very fast 3 hours.
After 10 years now, you've probably got people who have been to every single one of them and look forward to this every year.
We do. We have some repeat guests. And then I was thinking about it this morning, how many repeat decorators we had. We do have some new ones joining us this year, but there are a few of us who have done every single Tablescapes. So we have lifetime members.
And believe it or not, people will have 10 different sets of dishes that they'll be, they don't repeat their dishes.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Like Traci, for example.
Yes. I have not
I feel like
repeated
my
a set.
husband would have a stroke if I suddenly told him that I was going to start doing something like that. And oh, by the way, I need to refresh every single year.
Yep.
Although, as you can tell, I got you covered where coffee mugs are concerned. So maybe I should sign up to be
yeah.
a decorator and do one as a coffee bar.
There you go. That would be different.
That would be different. People would love it.
So, Traci, before we wrap up, tell me when and where is the event?
It is Sunday, April 19th at Millwood Station in Winchester from 2 to 5 p.m.
Ann rattled off a list of places people can get tickets at Kimberly's. They can come to your office and get tickets. But easiest, I would assume, is probably just to go to your website and buy them there.
Yes. And it's wheels4wellness.org.
And then while they're on the website, is there information if somebody wants to volunteer to be a driver, or somebody's listening today and had no idea that you offer this service and they want to get an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent signed up for it? Can they do all of that on your website as well?
Yes, absolutely. Across the top, there are tabs. Really simple to navigate. There's one that actually says become a client or become a volunteer. And each page has all of the information on it, and you can apply right online. It's a simple application for each that should take no more than 5 or 10 minutes to do.
And then, of course, do you have a donate button? So if someone can't come, but they still want to give you $25 or $50, you'll take that too, right?
Oh, always. There is a donate button on the website, and there's also a sponsorship page for Tablescapes. So we're always looking for sponsors.
Thank you both for taking the time today to give me all the details for this. I can't wait to see the photos from it because you also post that on your social media, and they are amazing tables. I wish I had a third of that talent.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what everybody cooks up for us this year for our 10th anniversary.
I will be back on Monday with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, just a few minutes after noon. So meet me here then.